Look, here's the thing about turning 59 and a half. It's not just another birthday. It's the moment your retirement accounts stop being locked boxes. Before 59 and a half, withdrawing from a traditional IRA or 401k can cost you an extra 10% on top of your normal income tax. That's right, 10% just for accessing your own money early. Sure, there are exceptions for disability or certain medical costs, but for most people, touching that money is expensive. Marcus, 58, never really understood this. He kept thinking, I'll work a few more years. I'll need the money anyway. Then one day he opened his 401k statement and realized something huge. If he waited until 59 and a half, he could take withdrawals without the penalty. Suddenly, that extra 10% wasn't eating into his savings anymore. Now, let's break it down in real terms. Imagine Marcus has $200,000 in his 401k. A withdrawal of $20,000 before 59 and a half would hit him with $2,000 in penalties. $2,000 he could have spent on travel, hobbies, or even paying down debt. After 59 and a half, that $2,000 just stays in his pocket. The key here is understanding how this changes your options. Once penalty-free, your retirement accounts become tools. You can design withdrawals strategically, blending IRA distributions, Roth conversions, and cash savings to manage your taxes. That's the kind of control most people never see coming. Marcus started sketching a plan. He looked at his spending, mapped out which accounts he could touch first, and ran numbers on different withdrawal scenarios. And here's the kicker. He realized he didn't have to keep grinding full-time to feel secure. That 10% early withdrawal penalty was a hidden barrier keeping him tied to his job. And here's your quick thought for tonight. Do you know how much you're losing by not understanding the 59 and a half rules? If this makes sense, comment 1 and keep track of your retirement numbers. This isn't about draining accounts recklessly. It's about knowing the rules and using them to your advantage. Because once you do, everything changes. Now, you might be wondering, what's the big deal about how you withdraw money? Here's the truth. Your paycheck while working is rigid. Almost every dollar is taxed the same way every 2 weeks. Retirement income? Completely different. You get choices. Ellie, 57, always thought she needed to replicate her full-time salary in retirement. But once she looked at her accounts, she realized she had 3 main sources. Tax-deferred accounts like 401ks and traditional IRAs. Tax-free accounts like Roth IRAs. Taxable brokerage accounts and cash savings. Think of them like 3 faucets over your kitchen sink. One faucet is tax-deferred, one is tax-free, and one is taxable. After 59 and a half, you decide how far to open each faucet each year. That choice directly controls how much the IRS takes. Ellie experimented with a small IRA withdrawal, a bit from her Roth, and some dividends from her taxable account. By blending these sources, she stayed in a lower tax bracket and avoided unnecessary penalties. For the first time, she felt in control. Marcus noticed the same effect. By planning his withdrawals strategically, he could cover essential expenses while keeping enough invested for growth. He could even do partial Roth conversions, taking advantage of lower tax years. This mix-and-match approach is something most people don't even realize exists. Here's the important takeaway. You do not have to replicate your old paycheck. Retirement income is flexible, and if used wisely, it can make early retirement not just possible, but comfortable. Quick action point for you. Take a look at your retirement accounts tonight. Identify your 3 faucets. Imagine how much you could open each one safely. If this resonates, comment "Plan" and start planning your withdrawal strategy. Remember, the goal isn't to touch everything at once. It's about using the flexibility you have to your advantage. Once you grasp this, you may find you don't need to keep working full-time at all. Here's something most people never think about. The years between 59 and a half and your required minimum distributions, or RMDs, are a golden window. Under recent law changes, the Secure Act 2.0 pushes RMDs to age 73 for most people, and for those born in 1960 or later, it goes to 75. That's potentially a 10 to 15-year window where you control your withdrawals. No forced distributions yet, no surprise taxes, just options. Marcus didn't realize this at first. He kept thinking, I'll just keep working until 65. That seems safe. But once he saw the numbers, he understood that every year he could withdraw strategically before RMDs could reduce his future tax burden significantly. Here's how it works. By taking controlled withdrawals from traditional IRAs and doing partial Roth conversions in years with lower income, Marcus could shrink the size of future RMDs. Smaller RMDs mean less taxable income in your 70s and 80s, which also reduces the risk of higher Medicare premiums due to income surcharges. Think of it this way. Delaying retirement without a tax plan can quietly hand the IRS and Medicare thousands of dollars a year. Meanwhile, Marcus discovered he could design withdrawals to minimize these future costs, giving him more flexibility and more financial freedom. Ellie took a similar approach. She mapped out her retirement account balances and projected her withdrawals in combination with Social Security timing. By doing a little planning now, she could keep taxes lower for over a decade, while also keeping her investment growth intact. The key lesson here is simple. Don't ignore this period. These are some of the lowest tax years of your life. Using this window wisely lets you convert some money to Roth accounts, fill lower tax brackets intentionally, and set yourself up for a smoother financial life later. Here's your thought to act on tonight. Map out your account balances and plan your withdrawals before you hit RMD age. If you're starting to see the potential, comment "Plan" and take control of your financial future. Remember, this is not about rushing to empty your accounts. It's about strategically using the years between 59 and a half and your RMD to maximize control, reduce taxes, and keep more money in your pocket. Now here's the big fear most people have. Health insurance before Medicare. It can feel overwhelming, but let's break it down. For someone retiring in their early 60s, marketplace premiums under the Affordable Care Act can range from about $1,000 to $1,100 per month per person before subsidies. For a 62-year-old couple, that could be close to $2,000 a month. That's not pocket change, but it's manageable if you plan. Ellie and Marcus had the same fear. They assumed they had to keep working full-time until Medicare kicked in at 65 just to afford coverage. But once they ran the numbers and considered how strategic withdrawals can lower taxable income, they realized they could qualify for income-based subsidies. Suddenly, the premiums became far more reasonable. Here's the key. Stopping work early doesn't automatically make healthcare impossible. It's about planning your income between 59 and a half and 65. By controlling withdrawals from tax-deferred accounts, Marcus and Ellie could reduce taxable income, which in turn lowered marketplace premiums. This also opened the door for partial Roth conversions without jumping into higher tax brackets. Let's not forget, healthcare isn't just premiums. Out-of-pocket costs and deductibles also matter. By modeling different scenarios, they could estimate expenses realistically rather than guessing. This gave them clarity, reduced stress, and helped them decide when to scale back work without jeopardizing health coverage. Here's a practical tip. Take a look at your projected ACA marketplace costs versus Medicare at 65. Factor in withdrawals and possible subsidies. If it surprises you, comment "Plan" and start mapping out your income. Remember, the goal isn't to avoid work out of fear. It's to use smart planning to turn fear into opportunity. Once Marcus and Ellie understood this, the path to early retirement became clear, manageable, and actually exciting. Here's the thing. Even if you understand penalties, taxes, and healthcare, most people still stumble because they don't have a step-by-step framework. Marcus and Ellie realized that planning without structure was like navigating a city without a map. They needed clear steps. Here's what they did. Step 1. Know your real spending. They went through the last year of bank statements and credit card bills, dividing expenses into essentials, housing, food, insurance, and lifestyle, travel, hobbies, gifts. This gave them a realistic picture of how much income they actually needed. Step 2. Map your 3 buckets. Bucket 1. Cash and near cash for 1 to 3 years. Checking, savings, short-term CDs. Bucket 2. Conservative investments for 4 to 10 years. Bonds, balanced funds. Bucket 3. Growth investments for 10+ years. Stocks and long-term funds. By seeing all their accounts clearly, they could plan withdrawals and potential Roth conversions more easily. Step 3. Use the 59.5 RMD window intentionally. They analyzed how much they could safely withdraw from tax-deferred accounts while staying in comfortable tax brackets. Marcus planned small Roth conversions to reduce future RMDs, and Ellie considered partial withdrawals to manage healthcare subsidies. Step 4. Decide your work style, not just retirement age. Full retirement didn't have to happen overnight. They explored part-time work, consulting, or lower-stress roles. The question became, how much income do we actually need from investments? The answer was far less than they expected. Step 5. Clean up debt and big obligations. High-interest credit cards were paid off first. They evaluated the mortgage strategically, deciding whether paying it off fully or keeping a manageable balance made sense for flexibility. Step 6. Coordinate Social Security and pensions. They checked benefit estimates at different claiming ages. By delaying Marcus's Social Security to full retirement age and staggering Ellie's benefits, they could maximize lifetime income. Step 7. Design your next chapter on purpose. They sketched life goals, where to live, travel plans, hobbies, family time. Finance became the tool to buy the life they wanted, not just a safety net. Here's your action point tonight. Write down these 7 steps and start mapping your own numbers. If this resonates, comment, plan, and take control of your retirement strategy. Remember, it's not about retiring the fastest. It's about retiring smart, keeping flexibility, and using your money to buy time, freedom, and energy. Now, here's a hard truth. Most people think enough is a fixed dollar amount. 1 million, 2 million, maybe even 4 million. But that's misleading. Marcus and Ellie learned that clarity is more important than a big number. They focused on understanding their real spending, tax brackets, Social Security timing, and withdrawal strategy. When you know how much you need each year and where it will come from, you stop guessing. For example, a couple with $1.5 million and a clear plan can feel more secure than a couple with $4 million and no strategy. Why? Because the first couple knows exactly how to use each account, IRA, Roth, and taxable, to cover their expenses efficiently while minimizing taxes. They also considered lifestyle choices. Instead of trying to replicate their old salary, they prioritized what truly matters: travel, health, hobbies, and family time. By matching withdrawals to real needs, Marcus and Ellie discovered they didn't need full-time work anymore. Here's the kicker. Understanding enough removes fear. Once they saw how penalty-free withdrawals, Roth conversions, and Social Security timing worked together, they realized early retirement was not only possible, but practical. The stress of financial uncertainty disappeared, replaced by confidence and freedom. Quick action for you tonight. Calculate your real spending, project your retirement income, and ask yourself, do you really need that full paycheck? If this resonates, comment "Go" and take the first step toward your own plan. Remember, retirement isn't about working until you can't move. It's about using money, math, and strategy to buy the life you want, not the life your neighbor wants, not the life advertisements show you. Marcus and Ellie now enjoy early retirement years full of energy, travel, and meaningful time with family. That's the power of knowing enough and planning smart.